see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, you guys any...
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. We got Bo in between us. StatGuy's on the other side. Jay may or may not show up today. Who knows? So, what's going on, guys?
Tuesday, we do have some NBA teams that have decided to exit the playoffs.
Yes, one being the Pelicans, the Zionless Pelicans.
Yep.
The Lakers were tried really, really hard. Didn't make it. They are out.
They won the in-season tournament, though, so they're still hanging a banner. Good on them.
That's right. Then we have the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep.
They get eliminated yesterday. And also, one of the other things I got to say is that, the Phillies lost in weirdo fashion.
Oh, yeah?
Wild pitches and things like that. And, yeah, they got beat by the Angels. But it is what it is.
Hey, we won in weirdo fashion last night.
Yeah?
We were being no-hit with 1 out left in the 8th inning, and we won 3-1.
Oh, nice. We had a 2-run walk-off
Cubs
tonight.
Yeah, the Cubs were being no-hit by Luis Severino through 7 2/3, and then they tied the game up without getting a hit in the 8th, and then they hit a 2-run homer in the 9th.
Nice.
That's more or less how we did it. We were down 1-0 and walk-off 2-run shot in the 9th.
But also, that was where the Lindor run an inside base path. Is that where I heard that?
I don't remember if he did that or not. If he did, it was early in the game.
Actually, I thought it was in the 8th inning. He was like, it was about to hit a single, and he ran inside the base path, and the catcher had to throw over his head. And they said because of that, he was out. He was blocking the path of the.
Yeah, won't surprise me.
So, and the Mariners beat the Braves 2-1. Look at that.
Yep.
In the 9th inning, a walk-off.
Walk-off 2-run shot.
How about that? Who was the Minter? Perfect.
Yep.
I like that. Beat the hell out of him. So, anyways, there you go. So there was a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff there.
Yeah.
And there we go. But anyways, so that's what happened yesterday. You guys must have been all excited about that. I know that Robert is like super excited. He's like, yeah, one less game I have to worry about later on in life, for this pizza.
I mean, we're on the same pace with you guys because you're 7-3 in your last 10, and we're 7-3 in our last 10 as well. So.
Oh, they did get you Darvish back. Well, they're not going anywhere without you. You was actually probably one of the best pitchers on that staff. I was wondering if he was out, how long he was going to be till he gets back, but he came back a day late because day
late and a dollar short.
Philly swept them. And not that it would have mattered because we're usually really good about beating them as well. So.
Oh, nice. 10 strikeouts on the Braves last night. That's a solid outing.
Yeah, I would say that's. The Raiders to sign Gallup to a 1-year, $3 million deal.
Yeah.
So people are now starting to pillage the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, you knew they're going to be sellers. Like they still have cap space to figure out. Like the Cowboys are not going to be a great team. They're going to be all right. They're not going to be like their window has moved past. They are, again, I think they're a 9 or 10 win team the way they're currently constructed, and adding Zeke back to the lineup doesn't move the needle.
If anything, it moves it backwards.
Well, I mean, they didn't have one on the roster at all, so I mean, it's a little better. It's a little better than not having a running back, but I mean, they did, but they didn't. So yeah, it's too bad Jay's not on here. I mean, to be fair, like if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be avoiding this show too. But
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about something before we got really into anything else. I wanted to talk about this real quick because I saw this come up on my feed yesterday, and I was like, I didn't mention it yesterday because we were so riveted with what we were talking about. Yeah, right. But
well, I mean, a lot of draft conversation yesterday because we're just on the outside of it.
So there's a fight that's going to be happening soon. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Now, beyond whatever you think about this fight, like obviously this is a big joke as far as I'm concerned.
Of course.
But it's now going to be a sanctioned joke.
Really?
They're sanctioning this. They have decided to sanction this fight.
It's no longer an exhibition.
It is no longer an exhibition. The win or loss will go on the record of each one of these guys.
Sweet. Tyson's coming out swinging now.
Tyson's gonna annihilate him. He's not gonna take this loss on his resume.
Definitely not. There's no way you want a loss to
Oh boy.
Oh man. I might actually watch this now.
So here it is.
He's gonna go from being known as Jake Paul to Jake Fall.
I'm in. I want to see him get throttled by a 60-year-old Tyson.
And I didn't realize that they sanctioned boxing matches at different times, different timings. So, for instance, here's the story on this. This is a heavyweight bout. We'll have 8 2-minute rounds, and the fighters will wear 14-ounce gloves.
Okay. So it's no longer the 16-ounce gloves they were trying to make them wear.
Yeah, so now it's the event takes place on July 20th at AT&T Stadium. Here we go. It's the 57-year-old Tyson is 50-6 with 44 KOs. Hasn't won a pro fight since a knockout win over Clifford Etienne in February of 2003. That's a long time ago.
And Paul hasn't won a real fight yet.
The 27-year-old Paul is 9-1 with 6 KOs, defeated Ryan Borland in March via a first-round technical knockout. So, there you have it. This is now a sanctioned pro fight.
So that at least makes this something I might tune into, especially because it's free, right? So because before I'm like, I don't want to watch another stupid exhibit. I mean, I haven't watched any of them anyway. I've only watched them on highlight reels because I thought they were all just bullshit anyway. But at this point, mostly just because I want to see Tyson go in and beat him up. And all things being equal, I kind of thought he was going to anyway, because I don't think Tyson has the ability to turn that off. Right? Like, I feel like his brain is a bag of cats, and there's just no way that he was going to be able to like step that down. He was going to come in and, punch away anyway. But now if it's a sanctioned event, he's allowed to. So they're going to have the correct weighted gloves. And yeah, no, like that sounds fun. That sounds fun. Now, that being said, Paul has been, he's been training for years now. So he's going to hold his own. Especially against a 60-year-old man.
You have to kind of figure that, no matter what you say about Jake Paul, he's become a boxer.
Yes.
He has become a boxer. He may have not gone up against other real opponents,
Yes.
but he has become a boxer. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the rookie go up against the seasoned veteran.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is I think that's one of the things that will be fun to watch about it is Tyson can win technically, right? Like incredible experience.
Mhm.
And he still has incredible bat speed. Now he may not be as fast as he once was, but his hand speed is still money, and he still has a lot of power. So I mean, if he connects, he's going to do some damage.
Well, it makes me wonder, did they sanction this for real so that they could get the gambling money?
Of course,
Was that the only reason why they did this?
sure.
I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
so too.
the gambling money would make complete sense, and especially if they get Tyson in on it to take a dive, because a lot of people are going to bet Tyson.
I would bet everything on Tyson for this one because he's knowing his reputation and knowing just kind of the way he takes boxing. He's not going to do a fight if it's not sanctioned. And if he does a fight where it's not if he does a fight where it's not sanctioned, he probably wouldn't give 100%. Now that this is a sanctioned fight that's going to go against his record, he'll come out swinging.
Yeah, no, he's going to come out battling, no doubt. Yeah. Tyson is hungry for a win and a good ear. Yeah, he's going to throw that ear on the George Foreman, right?
Exactly. He hasn't been able to eat any ears lately. So, but I mean, ultimately, I mean, everybody's going to be watching it. Obviously, this is going to be the biggest. This is going to be the biggest fight next to what was it? Conor McGregor versus what's his face? You know who I'm talking about.
That what, Diaz or whatever?
No.
Oh, I
He's
thought you were saying
boxing.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, he went up
Mary,
against.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
So it's probably gonna be a bigger gate.
Yeah, well, and what does that tell you about the state of boxing when this is one of your bigger fights that you can think of, right? And it's a 60-year-old Tyson.
Boxing has failed
Miserably.
in getting into the 21st century.
Could you honestly say though that boxing has failed since UFC is blown up?
No, I don't think one thing has anything to do with the other. I think UFC would have blown up on its own.
Yeah.
Because it's the next step of boxing.
Yeah.
But boxing has lost its WWF appeal. And that was the one thing that Don King was amazing at.
Yes.
He was a promoter to the nth degree.
No doubt.
And that was the reason why the money went to him, because he knew that these boxers are not worth nothing without somebody talking them up.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. So now you have Jake Paul.
So what you're saying is Jerry Jones should have been a boxing promoter.
I mean, you want him to promote your boxing, you're going to have problems because he does so well with the Cowboys.
He promotes his brand like nothing else.
Yeah.
And whatever you want to say about it, I mean, the Cowboys are still one of the largest fan bases in the world. So,
No, exactly.
I mean,
that's what I mean. Jerry Jones would have been an amazing boxing promoter because, man, does he love the camera. So, I mean, he would have followed in that Don King type of thing. Because, I mean, that was another guy. You saw him as much as you ever saw a boxer.
Yeah, well, Don King was boxing, really. I mean,
Yeah,
he was the one that made it all worthwhile. That, and it was more of, this is what happens when you get rid of the wide world of sports and you get ESPN.
Yeah.
So one thing actually had to do with the other on that regards. They stopped doing Wide World of Sports. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Like I would watch that, like, and you'd watch that guy tumbling on the ski slope, looking like a big boulder, like a big snowball. You know what I mean? Where it was like that was amazing to watch. And then you would have some epic fights. I remember watching the Hagler Hearns fight. I remember watching both, you know, 1, 2, 3 of Arturo Gotti versus uh uh Dolan, was that his name? Mickey was it Mickey Dolan against Arturo Gotti?
I don't know.
They were like epic fights. It was the Irishman versus the Italian all the time. Anyways, those were like you look at those fights. Those fights were like absolute wars. Wars. See, now you're making me go look it up because
Well, this is before my time, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember some of the Tyson pay-per-view scams that went for like 19 seconds. You'd have a watch party and you're like, cool, we're 20 seconds in and it's a wrap.
Well, that's what it was like too when I used to do
watch Mickey Ward versus Mickey Ward.
Mickey Ward. That's what I used to do for like when Anderson Silva was at the prime of his UFC. I used to do watch parties for when Anderson Silva had his main events, and those things would last like 30 seconds. Like, oh, that was fun. One straight kick to the face, done.
Yep. You're like, cool, $80.
Yeah.
Yep.
There it is. Bam.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The when boxing was on HBO every week.
Yeah, I mean that was.
And honestly, I think if boxing wants to make a comeback to kind of get it where it once was, why not put it back on HBO Max?
Yeah.
Because people have HBO Max, they use. Obviously, I have HBO Max, they use it, but they have like special things that only HBO Max can have. They have pay-per-view options on there. Like there's several women's soccer games that have been broadcasted on HBO Max, strictly only on HBO Max.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is one of the streaming services that has done well.
People have been most concerned about.
There we go. I know you probably didn't hear any of it, but Arturo Gotti versus Mickey Ward were some of the best fights. They had 3 fights. And then also Hagler versus Hearns. They put that on ABC. That was a Wide World of Sports thing. So, I mean, it's since that time, it's been, you know, ESPN took over for that, and they don't do that anymore because they put all of that on ESPN.
Yeah.
The Easton Assassin, Larry Holmes. Yes. Went 48-0, then went 48-1. Yeah, he was going after that 49-0 record. That didn't quite work. He missed it by a little bit. So in essence, what you're saying is everybody would watch. You think everybody's going to watch?
I won't watch it.
Well, I think they will because you don't have to pay-per-view it, right? It's going to be free on Netflix. Most people have Netflix or at least know someone that has it, right? So, yeah, I think a lot of people will watch this one, especially now that it's sanctioned. I think before when it was going to be like, I wasn't going to watch it before, right? Because it's like, okay, somehow he's getting Tyson to take a dive and I don't care. But if it's going to be a sanctioned event, Tyson's going to want this. Now he may still lose because again, he's old and it just is what it is, but at least be entertaining to watch. I don't think he's going to get, knocked out in the first round or anything crazy like that. Like, I think he has enough crazy in him that, worst case, this thing goes at least 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Now he may just be tired after 5 rounds and lose because of that. But although when you're watching the training videos, Tyson's training videos look a whole lot better than Paul's.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Like Tyson looks like he's coming to legitimately beat someone down, and Jake Paul is dancing around and doing stupid shit.
All right, and here's something else that came across my wire that I thought would be worthwhile talking about. In the wake of player and fan complaints about the new Nike uniforms, MLB introduced this season the league plans to restore larger lettering, correct mismatched gray tops and bottoms, fix the see-through pants, and find a solution to jerseys collecting too much sweat, according to a memo sent by the MLBPA that was obtained.
I mean, fixing see-through pants probably makes a lot of sense. Being a family show and all.
In other words, Fanatics is losing too much money, so they said we need to fix this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the players union blame Nike and not Fanatics.
Yeah, well, Fanatics is the one that made the jerseys, so
No, Nike is the one that made the jerseys. Fanatics is the one selling it.
Fanatics could have been like, no, we're not going to sell these because these look like shit.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't have had any jerseys.
Yeah, I feel like you're too late in the game to pull the plug on it. But it makes you wonder what the prototype, their samples were. Like, were they wildly different than what they got, or were they just not paying attention at all?
Well, I think what happens is that they make this cloth, and then once the cloth is made, there's so much of it made that you can't remake the cloth. It's not like you can have it. It's like they have to have. I got to imagine they got to have thousands, hundreds of thousands of yards of material.
Oh, of course.
Once it's made, you can't remake it. That means it was screwed from the beginning.
No, without a doubt. What I'm saying is was the finished product similar to the sample that they approved, right? Now, it's a sample, so it's not like they're out there playing games in it. So maybe they didn't notice that they would become see-through as you're playing in them. But,
So, yeah, and there's nothing really else to talk about there in the news. But I wanted to ask you guys a question, because I go to a lot of football games, and I travel. I go to every football game for the most part. I missed a couple of games a couple of years ago. That being said, as an average fan, and I'm going to call you guys kind of somewhat average fans, like as you represent more of the average fan base, probably, Bo, you do more than StatGuy because StatGuy is a reporter. But how many games, taking the wife out of it, how many games would you go to a year if you weren't married?
For just baseball?
I'm talking football, actually.
For football, okay. I would say 2 for me, just because of the weather up at Lambeau. I'm not paying that kind of money to sit and freeze my ass off in December.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
You're not even a Green Bay fan.
I know, but like, if Minnesota goes to Green Bay, I'll go watch Minnesota. And if the Bears, I have to go watch the Bears because that's the media market that I work for. And then if there's like another team that my son wants to see, I might go there. But like, even if I was a season ticket,
so here you go. That's good right there. The Bears, who you work for, kind of,
yep,
and the Vikings, who you're a fan of, are both playing in London.
I'd go for the experience more so than the game itself. I would go for that. I'd go for the London experience and the NFL abroad experience more so than the game itself. I would only do that once. I wouldn't do it again unless they went to like a different country. So if they went to England one year and then let's just say 3 years later they go to Germany, well then I'd probably go to Germany. But if they went to England one year and then came back to England 4 years later, I wouldn't go back to England again.
Even if it was in a different stadium. They play in Wembley one time and then they play in Tottenham.
Nope, I would just do the England experience just once for that experience. And if they went to Germany, the same thing. And now with the NFL going to like Brazil and Mexico City, like I would do each one of those once. If I obviously if I had the opportunity to do it, I would. But if they would go to that same country multiple times, I wouldn't do it more than once.
I mean, if money wasn't an issue when it comes to that, I would go to them. I think it'd be fun.
So, what becomes the money being the issue? How much would you pay to go to a game
You know,
overseas?
the thing that's funny is it has less to do with that part, right? Because when you're going on vacation, everybody's like, okay, you know what, the hotel is going to cost this, and you know the flights and whatever, right? And if you have a normal job, that's probably true because you probably have paid time off. The problem for me is I've always been self-employed, which means not only do I have the expense of the trip, but I also have the expense of not making money while I'm gone, right? So all of a sudden they become considerably more expensive in that way. So now as I transition into what I'm doing now, you know, potentially it becomes a work trip, and then awesome, tax write-off, love it.
Right.
See, yeah, that's the thing that I have going for me too. Like, I don't get paid that much to do the stuff that I do for the Chicago market, but every game that I go to that requires driving, it's a tax write-off.
Of course.
Well, theoretically, if I had the time to go to every single Chicago Cubs home game, I would do it. That's literally 360 miles times 81 games. You add that onto your taxes at the end of the year, you get 52 cents a mile. That's a nice tax write-off for that.
Yeah, that's solid, and you get to watch a lot of games, which awesome.
My wife was always asking me like why I would do it, because like in terms of like what I take home probably like $50 in pocket for like whatever story I do for the Chicago market. But she doesn't take into account that the games are free. I don't have to pay for those. Yep. I don't have to pay for a hotel cost if I stay at a hotel. I don't have to pay for my food. The only thing I'm literally paying for is the driving just for the gas. But later on in the year, that comes back in a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
I mean, you know, I guess the only thing that's a little bit, you know, different is because I try to cover the entire league. Going to the game makes it harder to do that for my first show Monday morning, which is 6 a.m. Pacific, right? So if I go to the game, especially if it's the night game, you know, it's going to be hard to report 6 a.m. Monday morning unless I just don't want to go to bed.
Well, and how long is the show that you do at 6 a.m.?
I mean, it's an hour-long show, so it's not like it's crazy by any means.
By yourself?
No, I got co-hosts. So I mean, it's not like it would be insane. But that being said, if you were in a spot where you did the whole game day experience downtown, then you're probably not watching a lot of other football, right? Because say it's an afternoon game, which is the most likely time frame for us, right? So you're gonna go tailgating, because if you're going to the game, you got to do it all, right? Because it's fun. So you're gonna go in your tailgate, and then you'll watch the game, and then you know it's gonna take you an hour and a half to get out of the city because people can't drive. You know, and so by the time you get home and do all of that, then I mean, you don't have that much time to watch a bunch of other games. Like you'll be able to catch some highlights, grab some stats, you know, find some talking points, but you wouldn't be able to talk in depth about it because you didn't watch any of it, right? Right. It'd be very topical conversation. Whereas if somebody, you know, jumps in the comments, or one of your co-hosts brings up something during one of those games, you're really going to have no idea because you didn't watch any of them.
Right. No, I get that. Like, for instance, I'm not going to have any idea what's going to happen with the Sixers game tonight because I'm going to the Union game.
There you go.
So I won't know until I come back and I check out the score, and then I'll see if I want to watch any highlights depending on the score. And, you know, I kind of feel like I may have to watch the interviews on how they feel after they get booted tonight.
Yeah.
So.
But I guess to answer your original question, if I was an average fan that had a normal job and ticket prices didn't matter, you'd probably go to all of them.
No, see, but ticket prices do matter. Because we are not. I wasn't asking a make believe question. So like it's like I took out the wife because
sure.
A wife would be the determining factor, being like, yeah, I'm not going. You're not going because I said so.
So
and
say
that's a real
say you're a realistic for a realistic situation. Okay, so say you're you got a normal job, and season ticket holder, because then you could be up in the 300 section. Ticket price is relatively reasonable. You probably go to six or seven of the home games, right? That's probably what you get, because inevitably you're going to have something mess up scheduling on a couple of the weekends. Like someone's going to get married or something dumb's going to happen, right? So you probably make it to, if you're an average fan, normal job, season ticket holder in the rafters, you probably make it to 75% of your home games.
I'm not sure if he's coming back or he disappeared.
I don't know. I just saw the buffering wheel, so
Is that what it was?
yeah, the little the swirl.
Okay, yeah, I don't see that. I just see a white screen. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
funny. Yeah, on my side, it's a black square with the buffering wheel.
Oh, yeah, then he's gone. He poofed.
Yep.
He'll be back, I'm sure, at some point. So it makes me wonder because, like I said, I go to a lot of away games. I obviously it's part of what I do for a living,
No,
so I
well,
have
and
to.
that's the distinct difference, right? Is because you do it for a living. That's why for me, it's almost better to watch it on TV, because not only can I watch the other games, but you can see better.
Right. But asking those same questions, what becomes too much money for a trip? So again, it's like I'm looking at, and I'm asking this, to our fans as well that are listening in.
Yeah.
If you were going on an away trip,
Okay.
what is, and this is going to be different for everybody. Obviously, there's going to be certain people who are going to have a much different threshold that says, "Yeah, I'm going to spend $5,000."
Sure.
To in comparison to, I'm going to spend $1,000, or I can only spend $700.
Yeah. So I mean, like for me, if you're going to watch here in Seattle, you're probably going to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 for a ticket, right? Like if you get some of the bleachers, I think you can get them for a couple $100. But like if you're going to sit in an actual seat and view the game in a good place, you're probably $300 a ticket, and then you're going to have to park somewhere downtown. You're going to spend $100 on parking inevitably. You're going to drop another $100 plus on food and drinks and whatever. If you tailgate, another couple $100 probably, because you're just walking around the city drinking beer and stuff. So, I mean, you're going to drop almost $1,000 for a home game here in Seattle anyway. So if I were to go, if I was going to travel somewhere, a lot of times ticket prices are cheaper. So you may be into it a couple $1,000s, right? I can get into that.
Couple thousand. That would be your max.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it depends on where it is you were going. Like if you're going to go somewhere to enjoy the city also, then you like tie it into a vacation thing. But like if you were just flying there for the game, yeah, that would probably be the deal. A couple grand, I could see that. Now, obviously, I view that differently today than I would have before, because now that I'm doing this as a profession, I will spend more to make that happen. But before, I wouldn't have, because I could spend that same money, watch it at a sports bar with my friends. I could pick up the whole tab and still save money.
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, that's a whole different scenario, what you're talking about in that regards. I look at it as, I mean, I have thresholds myself.
Sure.
Obviously, going to an away Eagles game, tickets are always very expensive when you go to an away Eagles game, because every Eagles game gets gouged because they know the Eagles fans will spend the money. So ultimately, knowing that I'm going to spend at least $300 on a ticket every time I go to a game, That makes it so that already takes away a little bit. And then most of the places you got to travel by plane and get a room, even at the cheapest room, it's going to be still $100 a night. That's going to be 400 or 500 because you're not getting there game day and then leaving that next morning. You're spending 3 days there at the very least. You're going to go out and drink, or tailgate or whatever. So my threshold typically is somewhere in the $800 to $1,000 range when I go for a normal away game.
Okay.
Make it playoffs. That number has to jump up to about 1,500 to 2,000. And as obviously it's like divisional. That's wild card and divisional. Once you get into the NFC Championship game, if I got to go away, that's about a $2,500 trip at the very least.
Oh, of course.
And that's then going to the Super Bowl is $5,000 at the very least. You're spending $5,000 at a Super Bowl to get in the door, and that number is continually going up. That's going to be somewhere closer to 7,000-8,000 here in the next 2 to 3 years. So those are my numbers that I do. Now again, that changes. Me going to Brazil, that's going to be more expensive because the flight itself is 1,000. You know what I mean? So, and it's a 12-hour flight. It's like I almost want to get myself a bed to bring on there.
Yep.
So, because like I said, in essence, you want to get a room in a plane. For the most part, I mean, it's.
No, if you get uncomfortable, you just do high knees, go up and down the aisle. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, but then you're stuck with who you're sitting next to that 12 hours. I know one trip was only supposed to be a 2-hour trip. We got stuck on the runway, and I was in the middle seat, and I had one Hollis Thomas next to me on the end seat, which meant that he had half of my seat too.
Yeah, no
doubt. So that makes it for an interesting trip, to say the least. It's like I didn't get cold on that trip, to say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys are snuggling.
Yes, but literally 12-hour trip. It's going to be a tough one to do it like that. I don't know that I could be like that for 12 hours.
No, that'd be
next
rough.
to somebody.
Although a lot of times, those longer flights have a little bit bigger aircraft, also.
Yeah, they need a little bit more space. I was watching the movie The Twilight Zone. Yes, from before you were born, StatGuy. Probably
I've seen the Twilight Zone before.
That's Burgess Meredith is the narrator in that movie, which is kind of funny to me. It's like I didn't remember that, but there's the last scenes of that movie is John Lithgow, who's got a fear of flying on a plane, and all the space that he has on that flight. He could sit there, he could cross his legs, he could do all that stuff. You can't do that anymore on a flight at all. Not at all. You're stuck. You're like, it's tight. When they put their seat back 4 inches, you miss that 4 inches.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand flights anymore and airplanes.
No, they're I don't enjoy flying. I'm not afraid to fly, but man, I don't enjoy it. It's plus I always just feel gross at the end. It doesn't matter how short the flight is. Like I always want to shower as soon as I get wherever it is I'm going. I just feel gross after being in an airplane and dealing with TSA and all of that. Like I don't know. There's something about it. Not a huge fan.
It's like being in a submarine. Yeah, when you're in a submarine, somebody farts, you're smelling it for the rest of the trip.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And if you're unlucky enough to be parked next to one of the bathrooms, you just know that for the next, 2 to 5 hours, if you're flying locally, it's about to be a bad day.
Smells like shit.
The whole time. Usually before you even take off, because somebody didn't plan ahead and use the bathroom before you climb on the plane. They get on and they're like, I'm here. I have to ruin everyone's flight.
I'm about to blow this bathroom up.
That's right. We hit Chipotle on the way in. I brought a kid and a dog. We're going to ruin everyone's flight for the next 3 to 5 hours.
I love it when the little kids, the babies, those are my favorite.
Yeah,
Those
just
are my
screaming.
favorite.
It's the best. You know, there is one thing that I do love being on a flight, though, is people's reactions in turbulence is the funniest stuff ever. Because inevitably they look out the window like you just hit a fucking dog or something. But, you know, you're 30,000 feet in the air. So you ain't going to see nothing.
You don't see that dog. You missed that dog.
But it's funny every time. They'll be like staring out the window and you're like, I don't know what you're looking for, but there ain't nothing out there.
That air pocket's really hard to see. Let me tell you.
Maybe you're looking for the wing to flap. Like, I don't know.
But anyways, so I just wondered if anybody had an opinion on that in terms of how much money you'd spend to go to an away game. Like baseball, I understand. I agree with you. With baseball, I would want to go to as many games as possible. And I do go to as many games as possible. I hit about somewhere between 65 and 70 home games a year. That doesn't include the playoffs. That also, like I hit probably somewhere between 10 and 15 away games a year. And then, of course, as many playoff games as I can make it to.
Yeah.
So.
No, that makes sense. I would definitely go to more. I would go to more games if I knew more people that wanted to go to more games. Yeah, she's having fun on Google this morning.
Yes, she is. She's going to town on this. Yeah, it's like, hey, in 1789, the first president was inaugurated. World's Fair opened.
So what? So 39 was the first World's Fair. When was the last one?
Was the New York World's Fair. It wasn't the first World's Fair.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
That was they had the World's Fair in New York. That was when the UFO fell. The UFO came down and landed in upstate New York. That's what happened, isn't it? I think that's why they did it. They couldn't get rid of it, so they actually made it a attraction.
Well, there was 2 of them, so you know.
Right. So, yeah, Louisiana became the 18th state after the Louisiana Purchase. How about that? And she just knows this right off of the top of her head. Not on Google.
It's the
Tell her, Mom.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
She was there.
She was there.
No, I was kidding about that, Mom. I don't think that I'm making.
I was gonna say she's already on a flight to Philly to beat that ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I was not there for the inauguration back then. I missed it, unfortunately.
No, but you're the reason aliens never came back. They're
Tell
like,
me
this
about it.
problem.
Yep. It was me with the COVID, the aliens, that first meteor that hits the Earth, and changed all that stuff. And I tell you, it's been more and more. And like it says, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, go on TikTok and type in Antarctica, and you can go down a rabbit hole if you want to. I'm done with the rabbit hole. Poof.
Hang on. Exactly.
He went on his own rabbit hole. Fell right on down.
Well, he's in Antarctica, and so Alien vs. Predator has just started.
Exactly.
So he's the first victim. I knew it was one of the almanacs. Had to be.
The Farmer's Almanac. I thought that's only good to tell us whether we're going to have a long summer or, a hot summer, rainy winter, snowy winter, stuff like that. That's a Farmer's Almanac type stuff.
Yep. Except they're kind of big books, so they must have other stuff in there. But
I got to imagine.
But yeah, that's why I said Britannica, right? Encyclopedia from the 80s, the volumes of books.
Oh, I remember. I used to have a bunch of them. You know what? You know what else I got? And I may even still have them because I kept the books. The Time Life books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they used to have Time Life books. Here's how to do this. That was the Time Life used to be the original YouTube
Yeah.
where
No,
you
no,
wouldn't have
absolutely.
you'd be able to go watch a video on how to do it. You would have to buy the book, and the book would tell you.
Yeah. No, no, no. I remember those books actually.
So, Rob, I'm going to talk about that after the break.
Yep.
We're going to talk like that was mentioned a couple of times, and I do have a feeling about that. So I'm going to wait to discuss that here momentarily. But the Ben Franklin Almanac. So isn't that a penny saved? Isn't that or the penny saver? Isn't that what that's called? Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense.
I don't know. I have my own type of book that I go by with like that. It's called Money Confidential.
All right. On.
But yeah, I know that he had that. It was a penny save type thing. The Money Confidential book is great. That's if you want to hide money, people hide money in the Bible. I hide it in Money Confidential.
There you go.
Actually, I don't hide the money. That's where I put like old dollar bills, like old dollars. Like when you get an old 20 and you're like, what the hell is this? That's what goes in there. I got like 20s, 5s, 1s, the star ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a couple of star ones, a couple of silver certificates.
So
in the car against that guy.
No, so for whatever reason, my computer keeps freezing up on StreamYard, and it's just not loading my webcam at all. So I'm just figuring out how to do this without the camera right now because it's working without the camera, but it's not working once I put the camera on.
Weird.
Understood. I guess your computer doesn't want to see your face.
Not today. Not today. Apparently, it made like a really weird noise at me, and then froze up and everything, and then just shut my camera off.
It's like, wah.
That's how it felt about me today. Apparently.
I mean, that's the sound my back made on my way to get my first cup of coffee this morning.
Yeah, so the one thing about being in Michigan, I'm going to talk a little bit about the draft here and my time at the draft. One of the things about being in Michigan is that Michigan is legal. Now, Seattle's legal, so it's not a big deal. But the stores are so much different from Seattle to Michigan. In Michigan, they give you a bud tender. You get somebody who actually comes and show you around the place.
Oh, okay.
And give you, hey, this is the bud, this is the candy, this is the
you get a tour guide through the store. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. You have your own bud tender.
I got you. Okay.
Prices much cheaper too.
Oh, I mean,
Michigan.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know why they're much cheaper in Michigan than they are in Seattle.
Yeah, because everything's more expensive here.
Yeah, but that's even that. It's still like.
Well, no, because we are similar to California in that way, where we really tax those types of things. It's also why we have some of the most expensive gas in the nation, stuff like that. Like we overly tax all of the things.
Got you. That makes more sense. Because I tell you, where you go to, if you're going up 75 to go up into Detroit, once you get up around mile marker 10, exit 10 and exit 11, you start seeing, all the way up, the moment you start getting in, you start seeing the billboards for free weed or free pot or free something because they're trying to get you to go there. And there was a mall, like a strip mall, that was taken over by marijuana stores, like multiple. There was like 6 places. And then, of course, the one CBD place where that's where you could buy all your implements and stuff like that. See, I didn't get a bud tender there.
Yeah,
when
that
I
just
was
depends
there.
on where you go, Rob. Because a lot of them don't. A lot of them are just little stores, and you wander around. Now, there's people behind the desk that have to get everything for you, obviously, but yeah, you don't typically have your own little tour guide. I know there are a couple of places here that do that though. So, but by and large, that's not most places.
Well, and once you have a bud tender, things get more expensive, anyways.
Sure, of
So
course.
in Seattle, they're probably already expensive. So having a bud tender
Yeah.
also adds to the cost of the stuff because somebody else is getting paid as well.
Yep.
These places, I tell you, have I mean there at least was about 15 to 20 cashiers
Oh yeah.
to buy the stuff, and
Yep.
each one is packed. It
Yep.
was packed. Like I'm sitting there and I'm watching the draft, and I got in there now for day 3. The picks go quick. You get 5 minutes, but nobody takes the 5 minutes.
No,
So
it just rattles right along. Yeah.
I showed up at pick 116. I finally left at pick like 140 something or another after I finally got all my stuff, and I got like a big bag full of stuff. And there's they gave you free stuff like, oh, this is your first time buying here? Perfect. And if you give us a 5-star review, you get more free stuff. Perfect. And they're just giving it away. Just giving it away.
Yep.
Now I understand why everybody's so chill in Detroit.
Yep. Nope. Ain't nothing free up here. That's for sure.
Mom's Spaghetti is a real place. I had to ask, and I after asking a few times, I then had to Google it because nobody knew the answer. Was Mom's Spaghetti a a place before the song or after the song?
I'm assuming before.
It was before.
It's not. It's after.
Really?
Yeah. See,
Wow.
it is now a chain owned by Michael Mathers.
Well, I would hope so.
So, and they do have the the Mathers, so you can get spaghetti, and what it is, it's just a big quart container of spaghetti
Sure.
mixed with marinara sauce, and then if they have spaghetti sandwiches,
Well, I mean, I would hope it's mixed with marinara. I wouldn't want them to pre-vomit my food.
and then they have spaghetti sandwiches. Yeah, so it's like it was pretty good actually. Like I went there, I got the I didn't get the Mathers special because the Mathers special is a sandwich with extra marinara, like dipping sauce on the side. I just got spaghetti and meatballs, and ate that before I went in to go see Cypress Hill. Because Cypress Hill happened to be a concert at the Fillmore, and although tickets were $88, I was able to purchase mine for $23.
I have to imagine you probably just about got a contact high walking by the place before you got into the concert.
Uh, it was a little pot-laden.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
They were celebrating 420 a couple days late, at least there, because actually I'd found out there at that point was that Cypress Hill was actually in Atlantic City for 420. So even though I missed them there, I caught them in Detroit, which was fun. I was like, I'm glad I went down there to go check out, to get the lay of the land because it was hard to figure out. You see this big stage, but when you go to the stadium, you couldn't find it, and you'd have to, you're going around, you're trying to figure it out. Where are we going? How are we getting here? Blah blah blah. It was absolutely necessary. No, I do not dab. I do not dab. Oil Man, the song "Mom Spaghetti," that's You only get one shot.
Yeah,
Not let the chance to blow.
Lose
lose
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, there we go.
Lose yourself.
Yeah, and
Have I
it's
had a
from
spaghetti
the
grilled
8 Mile
cheese?
movie.
I did not. I did not get a chance to announce any of the picks. I am not. So
Not there yet.
yeah, I feel like that they did have somebody announce a pick, and I have no idea who that was. Had I been there on Saturday, they probably would have had me announce the pick. I just did not go. Saturdays have become really challenging, and because I drove and I had a charity event to do Sunday, I just came home Saturday. But I will be doing a pick in the next couple of years. I promise.
If the draft ever goes to Philadelphia, you'll be the one doing the first pick.
Uh, well, actually, the draft has been in Philadelphia.
Well, if
In
it comes
fact, you
back,
could almost say that Philadelphia was the first draft of this type
I'm
because
happy they got it. I'm happy they got away from that.
once Philadelphia did it the way they did it, it was the first time not done in a theater. So they did it on the Ben Franklin Parkway,
Okay.
and ever since then, everybody else has done that. Although nothing beats that speech that was done in Dallas, and the Dallas draft was not the greatest. So, as far as drafts go, for me, it is Nashville, Philly, Cleveland, Detroit, Vegas. No. Uh, I liked Kansas City. Kansas City would be my third. It would be Nashville, Philly, Kansas City, Cleveland, Detroit, Vegas.
Oh, so speaking of doing this for a living, this is hilarious. So I got my first two payments from Spotify, right? So cool.
$7 and
Oh, that would have been
21 cents.
awesome. There was two payments of 1 penny each. I was cracking up. I was like, book the cruise. Here we go. We made it.
I get it. I understand.
I mean,
I
it's a win either way. I'm not saying that, but it was hilarious because I get the alerts like, oh, you got a payment. I was like, oh, that's fun. And then I click into it.
You should have them pay you in
With a check.
in like Shiba Inu.
I mean, right? Probably.
Yeah, because then at least you would have like 10,000 Shiba Inu.
True.
With 20 cents, yeah, 2 cents. That's about 20,000 Shiba Inu.
Yep. Yeah. No, but it was hilarious because I got an alert. I was like, oh, cool. I wonder what we got. It's like 1 penny. I was like, awesome.
That was like my first amount of money that I made from TikTok.
Oh yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok is, it's like unless you have millions and millions of followers, you just don't make any money off of TikTok. And now that they're trying to do the longer content scenario, it's just so much more of a pain in the ass. But
well, yeah, because the lives now have to be like one of the lives per month or something has to be an hour or something, right? Something.
Does it?
Something like
yeah,
that.
one of your lives per month has to be an hour, and then you also need another live that has to be at least 15 minutes per week.
Yeah.
Per week.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, whatever. 15 minutes isn't too bad. Like once I finally get to a spot where I can do lives, because I'm still like 400 short, I'll just do I'll just pop on it while I'm prepping for this show. I mean, just me at my desk. Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm going to start setting up on TikTok lives. I want to start setting up the super fan battles.
Oh, sure, that'd be fun.
Where it's like it's one super fan versus another super fan, and you go back and forth, and they give you tips and stuff like that. Like like the girls do with that are barefoot all over TikTok. They give those girls tips all over the place. I tell you, it amazes me that how many people have like a foot fetish in the world because those girls make tons of money by doing nothing.
Yeah, I don't get the foot thing. I honestly I don't have no idea what that's about. I mean,
Yeah.
cool, you're into what you're into, but like I can't wrap my head around it.
Hey, listen, I just can't wrap my head around the fact that somebody actually gives them money to not really show them.
Yeah.
Nice. We got the changeover crew from the Spectrum. He used to go in there and after a Flyers game or Sixers game, switch it over to the other rink.
Very cool.
All right, guys, we are at the top of the hour. We are going to stop for our station identification break, and we will be back in just a few moments. So stay tuned for the second hour of Coast to Coast.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, get any.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sometimes, all you need to change your life is a sign. A sign that says, "Hank, this is the place you've been looking for." And sometimes that sign is an actual sign that's mounted to a building. 1 second, I'm looking at a sign. I know what you're thinking, and no, I don't love B-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. Cause this place, come on. It's like they took beer and made it into a place and then gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people? Cuba. The best. Oh! What the is going on, Marty? This isn't a game. This is trivia. Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. You know, without needing to get hit by a bus. Let's go sports bar.
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And we are back with the second hour of Coast to Coast. Yes, Oil Man, I'll jump right onto it. Jason Kelsey, everybody's, America's dad at the moment, and favorite number one podcaster, well, second number two podcaster in the world behind Joe Rogan, is now on the Monday Night Football announcing team. Mm-hmm. Thoughts from you guys?
Not even a surprise at all.
That's what I was thinking.
especially when he was on that one Thursday night broadcast this year with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit for like, I think it was even more than a quarter. It was like a quarter and a half when Philadelphia had their bye week, and he was a natural. You kind of figured he was going to get involved with whether it was like a pregame type of thing or just any kind of NFL show on a Sunday. You knew he was going to get involved some way.
Well, so I mean, obviously, I didn't see the contract. I got to imagine he's getting somewhere around $5-6 million.
I think it's 3 at 15. I think it was what it is. So $5 million a year.
Got you. Yeah, so that makes sense to me. He's not Tom Brady.
Well, the thing is, they haven't ironed out all the details yet, but they want to see if he's interested in being one of the sideline reporters too.
No,
I
no, no,
I
no,
think he'd be
no,
great
no.
at that.
I
Like
tell you,
like what Tony
maybe,
Siragusa
That's
used to
exactly what I
do.
was thinking.
Jason
This would be the
Kelsey, the
next
way he would interact with some of those players, I think it would be great.
It'd be
maybe.
good TV.
But,
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like Goose.
like Goose. I don't know. I mean, obviously I love Jason Kelsey. He'll never have to buy a beer when I'm around if he's ever at my bar. But I I think that there's a certain level of Jason saturation that we can take. And I wonder how much that would affect his podcast.
Well, I can't imagine that would be more like I don't see how him being on the sideline would be more than if he was just in the booth because you're going to see him less.
Yeah, I think having him on the sidelines would actually be more beneficial than actually having him in the booth because you're not gonna hear him as much as you would if he was in the booth. You're not gonna see him as much as he would be in the booth, and it's just basically it'd be just kind of I think more fun interviews than anything.
Well, and he would have he would have a little bit more of that in person. Because I would imagine in between interviews he probably interacts with the front row of fans. Just because that's Kelsey, right? So, I mean, ultimately, it'd probably be better for his brand if he did something like that. I don't know if he would be interested in doing that, but I mean, he would be on camera less, interact with more fans. Like, I think that could actually be good for him. But you knew he was going to go this route. I mean, just based on how successful the podcast is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think the one thing has anything to do with the other. I think that the podcast is specifically, the podcast has become a way for Swifties to talk about sports.
Well, so why I make the comparison and why I think there is a direct correlation is you get to see how comfortable he is on camera without employing him first. Like all of a sudden now it is a long job interview because there's plenty of footage for them to go back on. And you get to see how natural the conversation is. Now, did he get hired because of that? No. But you're looking at it for sure. If you're considering
choice, I mean, let's face it. I mean, the guy's got a podcast that's got 1 million subscribers. So
exactly.
that's a big deal. If not more. He may have more than 1 million subscribers.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind.
So does that mean his brother's going to get the opportunity to do this too?
Absolutely.
Once we're done, we're going to get Kelsey'd up all over the place.
Sure. That'll probably end up being some sort of Manning cast type of thing where they pair them both back up. I can definitely see that. It'll be on Amazon. It'll be Thursday Night Football, the alternate broadcast.
I would be kind of funny if they did the All-Star game like I said they should, and get 4 teams and have the Manning brothers versus the Kelsey brothers and have
that would be fun. Actually, that would be good stuff.
I agree. I think that again, more people would watch the Pro Bowl now. No, I don't think so. Especially since now he just got paid more money.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely not.
I mean, what's he going to be in for another 3 years, right?
Well, I mean, that's what the contract is.
Yeah, it's 3 years, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that he's going to be there for 3 years. I think he retires after this year, especially if they three-peat and the moment that she gets knocked up. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I think that she's going to get knocked up quick because, you know, let's face it, she ain't getting any younger, and I think she wants children.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't dated her, so, but my thought would be is that she wants children.
The odds are high.
I think so. And I feel like Jason's going to keep trying to pump him out until he has a boy. You know, and that's what I say. Hey, listen, Jason, if you want a boy, you have to be the one that gets on top.
Whatever strategy he's trying right now, it ain't working.
It's going the wrong direction. So that's why I say I usually say, listen, if you have a girl, that means she was on top when you conceived. You gotta get on top there, big guy. I know that you probably don't like to do it. You're tired.
And this is
Too
the
much work.
ridiculous stuff you get on Coast to Coast.
Coast to coast, we tell you how to make man child.
Yeah, the coasts that we're spanning are actually not physical coasts. It's more of just relevant conversation.
Yeah,
we're always on the edge.
somewhere. That coast is like a fjord.
Yep.
But anyways, so he's going to be on that team, and maybe they'll be somewhat palatable. I'm hoping the Eagles have like 4 Monday night games, so that's
2 years. I'd take the under on that.
yeah. I got the under on that. On her being pregnant or her having the baby.
Yeah, that is wildly different. So it says pregnancy, so I'm going to go with that she hasn't had it yet.
Right.
And so I would take the under. As far as the kid actually being born, that's
close. I still got it in the under, but very much closer.
Are we talking Taylor Swift right now?
Yeah.
I'm taking the way over.
Yeah?
She will not put out a child until she is not on a tour. And
this tour is about to end here in a minute.
She's got another one that's starting already in September.
See, this is where I told you, like, this is how I think about certain things, where she's going to get knocked up and she's going to be on tour for 4 months, and then she's going to announce it around Christmas time, and they're going to have this baby in like June or July of next year. Maybe even May. Right around the draft. Or the release party, at least.
I'll put my Bet US link in the down here in the comments, and there's probably a prop bet you can be a part of.
She's just the kind of person that just doesn't seem like she's gonna have kids till she's like 40. Just because she does so much stuff, she writes so much music. Whenever she goes on tour, it's such a long tour, and a lot of them are.
But I mean, the last one that either just wrapped or is wrapping up or whatever, it's $1 billion tour.
A multi-billion-dollar tour.
Right? Like, I think she did all right.
She made like $3 billion on that tour.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what the odds are on the baby or anything like that.
There's a prop bet somewhere for it.
Right. But I do have, like I said, I have it. It's going to happen right around. She's going to be 4 months pregnant right around Christmas time. And that's when she's going to announce it. They're going to take a break starting in the new year from the tour. And then she's going to have the baby. She's going to be able to watch the baby for 6 months. And then they're going to pick it up where they left off again from the tour that following December, like January.
Since this is essentially reality TV at this point, it's also going to be Jason's.
That'd be funny. That'd be hysterical.
No, it's not going to be Jason's. It's going to be Ed's.
I think it's going to be Antonio Brown's.
Oh man,
that would
nobody
be
needs
hysterical.
that.
That would be hysterical. You know, that would be way too much. So, see, exactly. This is exactly it. This it makes us a degenerate and weirdos.
I just like wins. Trying to put a marshmallow in a toaster.
Yeah, never a dull moment. There's
just
never a
out there-
dull moment here.
Just out there pushing rope.
So,
man.
So based off of the draft and everything that's going on with it and all this other stuff, where do you think your team? Obviously, the schedule hasn't come out. We haven't seen that, but based off of your opponents that you're playing, if you had the perfect schedule set up for you, what do you think your team would end with at the end of the season?
Let me double check my schedule because I don't even remember at this point who all we're playing. I know I saved it.
Are you guys playing Vegas? I think you guys are playing Vegas. I would know some of this.
No, I know I screenshotted the
Well, you're playing the Vikings. I know that. Where is it at? I know I had it here.
Yeah, I had it because I actually looked at it the other day. Apparently, I retained a lot of it.
Yeah, I could tell. All right, I'm just going to look it up. I'll look up on the Seahawks'.
I think Minnesota wins about 6.
6?
Yeah.
So that new quarterback does really good for them, huh?
He doesn't start. Sam
Okay,
Sam Darnold's going to start this year.
All right, so that goes down as a dub for the Hawks then. So yeah, we got let's see, we got Green Bay, Vikings, Giants, Dolphins, Broncos, Bills, Jets, Falcons. Okay. I'm going to go with they are. I'm going to go with they're a 9-win team.
Can I take back what I just said?
Sure.
I'm going to say 4 wins.
4? Wow.
I mean,
you have zero faith in your team.
Well,
I like it.
We're starting Sam Darnold this year.
Yep.
So Minnesota's got Arizona.
You don't think that Darnold can play better than the hodgepodge of quarterbacks?
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but if you look at our schedule and who we play, we have Arizona, which you don't know how Arizona's going to be. They had a good draft, but it's still Kyler Murray. He's hit or miss.
True.
We have Atlanta. But when do we get Atlanta? Do we get Atlanta when Kirk Cousins is playing? Or do we not get him when Kirk Cousins is playing because the actual schedule release hasn't come out yet? It just has the opponents listed. And then we get Detroit twice, which we're going to lose both of those games. We have the Packers twice, which will probably lose both of those games. We have the Bears twice, which I don't know how that's going to end up. We have Houston. Houston's probably beating us. We have the Colts. That could be a win there. We go to Jacksonville. That's not going to be an easy game. We go to the Rams. That's not going to be an easy game. We go to the Seahawks. We're going to lose that. We go to the 49ers. We're going to lose that. And then
we probably get you early, would be my guess.
And then we get the Jets and Giants both in New York. Probably losing to one of those games. And then we get Tennessee Titans at home. I don't see more than 4 wins with knowing who we got to play and where we got to play them.
Yeah.
Even if Darnold plays well, I don't think it's going to matter just because the teams that we play have a better roster than us top to bottom. And if we're seeing them on the road as opposed to being at home, that's where I think things could go south. I think at a high water mark they win 6, but I don't see them winning more than 4 given what they have right now and who we play and where we play them.
Yeah. And Rob, we don't have them on the regular season schedule, but if we can do it instead of 9, if we can do a 10-7, potentially we get to see them in the playoffs.
Maybe.
It looks like we're supposed to go to Seattle at the end of November.
Oh, really? It's gonna be later? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because they always do the division games last, and they always do them first. So you're going to have 3 division games within the first 5 weeks, and then you're going to have 3 division games.
Not true. That's not true at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say we never get that. We have
we do
all
because
of our division games at the end.
we ended our season with 2 games against Detroit and 1 game against Green Bay. That was
Yeah, we ended our season with 2 games against the Giants and 1 game against Arizona, actually. So
we had our last 3 games are all divisional games, and then our first 3 divisional games came between weeks 4 and 6. The NFC North pretty much does the same type of scheduling every year. How they always have like the last
for us in our last 7 weeks we had 5 divisional games, and then we had 1 divisional game like to kick the season off, and then we had 1 other one filtered in there. But I mean, the bulk of them were at the end of the year for us, because
we start our season. We start our season in Brazil against a conference opponent. So
yeah. Like for whatever reason, the NFC North always does it where you have 3 division games in the final month of the season.
Yeah.
And then depending on how the rest of them play out, it just worked out for us where we had Detroit in week 15, 17, or Detroit in week 15 and 18, Green Bay in week 17. And then we had Chicago in week 5, Packers in week 7, and then Chicago again in week 9. So every time we get the NFC North, they're all grouped into like a 10-week stretch where you have all 6 of your division games within a 10-week stretch.
Well, of course, when the schedule comes out, it won't be anything like that because you said it was.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and I'm looking at, I don't know how that works, but looking at Minnesota's track record too, just on how their schedules always fall, it always seems that whenever they play a team early in the season one year, the next time they play them, it's later in the year. So the last time the Vikings played the Seahawks, I believe it was early October.
Yeah, see, for us last year, our first game was against the Rams, right? And then we didn't have another divisional game until October 22nd.
Yeah, and for us, it was we didn't even have a divisional game until I think week 6, and then after that, we just ripped off a bunch of them.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, because I mean, we had the Niners twice in 3 weeks. We finished with Arizona. We had the Rams just before the first Niners game. So I mean, we went down the stretch with the bulk of our divisional games.
Yeah, for us last year, it was Tampa Bay week 1, Philly week 2, Chargers week 3, Carolina week 4, Kansas City week 5. And then we got Chicago week 6. We played Atlanta not Atlanta. We played somebody in week 7. I can't remember who. We played Green Bay week 8, Atlanta week 9, Denver week 10, Chicago 11, and then 15 through 18 we had our other 3 division games.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes it doesn't. I think our first divisional game wasn't until week 7 against the Cowboys. So, because we wound up playing, or maybe it was against Washington in October early, and then we came back and did the Jets. It was the first time the Jets ever beat us. Was October 15th. I won't forget because October 14th, there was a Phillies game, and that's why they beat us, because we were all watching the Phillies game, including the Eagles. We were all tired.
That'd be the only explanation, because that was not a good Jets team.
No, it was not. And we had the lead most of the game, but even still, we were tired. We were just tired. Yeah, I was at that game too, Oil Man. It sucked. But such is life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The Jets were normally used to losing. We lost. In fact, I lost 3 games this past year at MetLife Stadium. I lost against the Jets, we lost against the Giants, and we lost against the Devils. 0 for 3.
Dang.
Yeah, that stunk. PU.
Hey, but I gotta run, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
All right, guys. So, yeah, and we're just a few minutes left in our show because we have to leave a little early today because I've got some stuff I have to do that's going to require my attention, and I can't be at 2 places at once, like on here and on the show. On the show and on my
that
meeting.
actually works out. I have to go. I have to go up and fix something a contractor did at my sister's house.
So if the contractor did it, why isn't the contractor fixing it?
Because it was a bad enough job, you don't really want him to get back in it.
Understood. So paid him already. Don't want him back.
Yeah. So. Yep.
Yes, you were going to see me in June in Allentown. I will be there. I'm still trying to get in the game. Yeah, I know that you're talking about the Devonta Smith softball classic. I'm actually trying to play in that game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It would be cool. I don't know that it'll happen, but it'll be cool. Either way, I went up there for the first time ever last year, and like I was getting just as many pictures as the players were, and it was funny because the players are looking over and they're like, "Who is this guy over here taking all these pictures?" And then they saw it was me, and they're like, "Oh." Like, yeah, they don't care.
They're like, it's that guy.
Yeah, it's whatever. But so yeah, I'm actually hoping to, if not this year, look for next year where I am involved with a softball game with a Giants super fan, where we actually have the Eagles versus the Giants. If we can make it happen, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Especially since Saquon Barkley would be on my team now.
Even better.
not that he's a good softball player. He's not a good batter.
Oh yeah.
Some people can play baseball. Others people can't. There's a reason why he plays football.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Right there, Oil Man. You saw him. You saw him last year, right? I think he struck out on a slow pitch.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, one of the better hitters.
You do have to adjust your swing a little bit for softball, but but to strike out, that's kind of rough.
Yes, I agree. And I think one of the better hitters was T.O. There you go. It's T.O. was like amazing.
No, that makes a ton of sense.
T.O. has got a number of like hidden talents. He's like a professional bowler.
Yeah, I mean, dude is just an all-around athlete. Like,
yeah,
he just likes to compete.
Agreed.
And I mean, say what you want about his attitude and whatever. I mean, dude works at everything, right? Like his work ethic is amazing because he wants to be the best
all the time.
Exactly.
All the time. There is no.
So, I mean, regardless of what it is, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to do this. Okay, well, I'm working. Like I'm going to be the best."
Exactly.
And I appreciate that about him.
Yeah. So him actually killing a softball and hitting home runs and stuff like that isn't a surprise.
No, it makes total sense.
So it's been a minute since I've hit a softball, but I'll bring my bat with me. If I get in that game, I'm bringing my bat. And my bat, it's not juiced, but it could be.
I was going to say you're bringing the most juiced bat ever.
Well, I tell you, people have asked me to buy my bat.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and it's if anybody's played softball and the Monster bats, they had their first year. They came out with that floating technology, the floating in bat technology. That is out of the wrapper. it was hitting home runs.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, I mean, some of those bats, if you broke them in right, man, they could really just, and it wouldn't even have to be an awesome swing. Like it would just be, it would pop off the bat amazingly. Like I would randomly, you know, be like a pickup player for friends that were playing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, use this bat," and you'd be like, "Oh, like you're swinging, and even mid swing, you're like, this is not a great swing," and it's like pop, and you're like, "There is wow, that really just took off."
that means that's a juiced bat. That shaving those bats and stuff like that is such a. Yeah, we caught this one team using a shaved bat, and it was in the championship, and we didn't make enough of a stink about it because it all came apart. Like the cap came out, and we're like, oh, that's so shady. And he's like, yeah, we're just not using this bat anymore, and I'm like, cheaters.
Yeah.
But we lost that slow pitch softball game like 2-1.
Oh, that
So
sucks.
so that's when you lose a slow pitch softball game 2-1. Everybody's playing great defense and nobody's using a juiced bat.
Yep.
But that's because their juiced bat got banned. We found it because it broke apart. So luckily for us, they weren't allowed to cheat for very long.
Oh, you found it early in the game? I mean, that's a bonus.
Well, it broke apart early in the game. And then the umpire didn't know how to deal with it. And I was like, yeah. Pain in my ass is what that is, but whatever. That's what it is sometimes.
Are the Chris, are the ticket prices crazy or something? Like
I'm actually going to look at them right now. Philadelphia 76ers for that's game 6. Let's see game 5, shall we? There it is. Starting from $500.
So, to circle back to our conversation earlier, I would not go to that game.
Me neither. Well, I mean, you could get 2 tickets for $6,400. That's right on the. That's actually row 5. That's not even on the floor.
Yeah, that also might be out of my threshold there by about $6,400.
You got row 4, but no.
I think the taxes that they slam onto that $6,400 ticket would be about the ticket price I would want to buy.
You got row 2 for $4,000.
Single ticket?
2 tickets. So 2 tickets are $4,000 each, or $3,600 each.
Yeah, okay, there we go. That makes more sense.
And then number 10 is row 2 is $8,900 a ticket and $5,300 a ticket. Let's see what the best deal is. No. Best seat. What's the best seat? Section 4 BB. No, that's not good. That can't be the best one. There's got to be something better. There you go. Section 6, row A. 2 tickets, $20,000 each.
Oof. Hard pass.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either.
The best seat is the Denny's, the Denny's bar across the street.
Yeah, actually, you're not getting me in any one of those seats. But yeah, the cheapest one is $508.
Yep, not happening.
Yeah, and that's all the way up at the top. Yeah, so I ain't doing that. I'm gonna pass. Sorry, guys, not going to the game. Yeah, that's way too ridiculous. I would not be doing it at all.
No, that is, yeah. I mean, for me, realistically, about $300 is where I start losing interest on 250 to 300. That's kind of where I lose interest on going to the game. Any game, doesn't matter if it's football, baseball, whatever. Like at that point, I'm no longer interested because it's at that point I could just do an awesome watch party and be hanging out with my friends, and I don't know. Like it definitely gets to a spot where I just like, yeah, because it's not like the ticket prices where where you stop spending money, right? Because now you're buying drinks and you're parking and you're getting the gas to get in and out and all of the time, and at that point I'm just like, yeah, I'll just buy a bunch of food and drinks and watch it at home, and then it's not a pain in the ass to go get a drink.
Right. Doesn't cost you $20 for that beer when you get it.
Yeah, and I don't have to waste 35 minutes to actually get said beer.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, it is what it is. In the meantime, we're gonna call it a day here because I have to get ready for my meeting. So we'll be back again tomorrow, and I'll tell you all about what it was like going to the Union game today. As this game is going up against the Seattle Sounders.
Here we go.
So we're playing Seattle today. It's a redo of the game that was postponed because of rain earlier in the season.
Weird.
So yeah, that's rare.
Like how bad was the rain?
Bad. It was like thunderstorm, like somebody turned on a faucet type of rain.
I get. Well, thunderstorm makes sense. As soon as, I mean, it doesn't matter what sport it is. If there's thunder and lightning, they pretty much shut it down.
No, there, Freebird, go Union. So you don't even get. I'm not even putting up that thing right there.
I mean, I'm not a soccer fan, but I still hope the Sounders win.
Yeah, well, they are going to lose. So, anyways, everybody have a great day, and we will see you guys again tomorrow. Take care.